Hello, my name is Tom Cullen. I am the Secretary-Treasurer for the Kiwanis Club of Chilton. With me on my left is Gene Van Freychen, and on my right, Bob Cullen, who served with me on the Film Restoration Committee. We are proud to have been a part of this very special project and want to welcome you now to view this historical film of Chilton, which was commissioned as a silent film in 1938 by our Kiwanis Club. Our club members decided that it would be of great value to preserve and enhance this film. A committee was formed, funds were appropriated, information was gathered, and the necessary arrangements made to have the film remastered. The film was enhanced by adding narration, music, and historical data in the hopes of bringing life to the past. Before we start the film, let me tell you a little about our club and how this film came to be. The Kiwanis Club of Chilton was chartered on December 3, 1929. It was the first service club of its kind in Chilton. The Kiwanis motto is, "We build." This year our club will observe its 73rd anniversary of helping to build a better community by providing service to the city of Chilton and the surrounding area. Kiwanis is a worldwide service organization with men and women serving in over 9,000 clubs in more than 80 nations. In the early years of Kiwanis, the membership was made up of businessmen in the community that had a strong desire to give back to their communities the time and talent needed to help make their communities better places to live. Today, Kiwanis is open to men and women and includes people from all walks of life. However, the purpose of Kiwanis has not changed. The mission of Kiwanis is to provide community service where it is needed. The making of the Chilton film of 1938 was a project of the Chilton Kiwanis Club for the purpose of creating a historical document of the city and its people. The remastering of this film of 2002 was taken on as a project of today's Kiwanis Club in order to preserve this historical document for future generations and to add narration and sound to the film. I would like to take this time to present to you the 2002 Kiwanis Club officers, directors, and membership that have made it possible to preserve this very special film.
Hello, my name is Richard Schmidt. I am the current president of the Chilton Kiwanis Club, and I have served with the Chilton Kiwanis for 18 years.
Hello, I am Bob Cullen, current immediate past president of Chilton Kiwanis Club, and have enjoyed 31 years of service with the Chilton Kiwanis Club.
Hello, my name is Tom Cullen. I am the current Secretary-Treasurer of the Chilton Kiwanis Club. I've served the Chilton Kiwanis Club for 30 years.
Hi, I'm Gene Van Freychen, and I'm on the Board of Directors for the Chilton Kiwanis Club, and I've been a Kiwanian for 9 years.
Hello, my name is Al Bowles. I'm a director, and I've been a member for 12 years.
Hi, my name is Carl Siebert. I'm on the Board of Directors and a 30-year member of the club.
Hello, I'm Charles Zarnath, a member of the Board of Directors. I have been with the Chilton Kiwanis Club for 37 years.
Hello, I'm John Schmitz. I'm a Board of Directors, and I've been with the Chilton Club for 10 years.
Hi, I'm Terry Shakis, and I've been a member of the Chilton Kiwanis Club for 11 years.
My name is Diane Mincheski, and I was an active Circle K member throughout college, and now for the past year I've been a member of the Chilton Kiwanis Club.
At the end of the film, we have listed the names of those people that have assisted our club in restoring this film. We value their contribution in making this a successful project. Every effort was made to correctly identify the persons and places in this film. We apologize for any errors or misrepresentation that may have been presented here. Now sit back and enjoy this special film from the past.
We start out by introducing the film with the actual news article that was printed October 6, 1938 in the Chilton Times Journal, which read as follows, quote, "We'll all be movie actors next week," unquote. Spruce up, everybody. Put spring into that step, zest into that smile, pep and cheer and charm into your actions, for the movie cameraman is coming and we'll all be screen stars next week. Here's the story. The Chilton Kiwanis Club has arranged with a motion picture production company to take movies of local scenes and people. Miss Martha Lindner, a representative of the firm, arrived in town today. She will make the preliminary arrangements for taking motion pictures of school children, bands, football teams, people coming from the churches, pictures of the Women's Club, service clubs, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, business places, and other things of interest. The cameraman will be here Friday, October 14th, and will spend several days taking the scenes. The showing at which you will see your town and yourself in the movies will be presented at the Chilton Theater October 25th and 26th. The film will remain the property of the Kiwanis Club of Chilton and will be a valuable bit of close-up history of this locality for future showing. As we enter Chilton from the west, we pass by the State Street Dam and the Manitowoc River to the west, currently Lake Chilton. A view of Main Street looking west from atop Chilton Malting Company. Dumpke's Mill is to the left, St. Mary's Church is to the right. We view Park Street looking south. That's Chilton Public School on the right. The large white plant with the smokestack is the Carnation Company. This is Bill Knopf coming out of the post office. On the left is Cyril Pfeffer. Joe Schmidlkofer on the right was the postmaster at the Chilton Post Office. Art Jensen is on the left, Cyril Pfeffer in the middle, and the sweeper is George Puffy Hume. St. Augustine School children enjoy recess. The school dates back to 1869, when 3 sisters of Notre Dame Convent started a one-classroom school. The first classrooms were in the church choir loft, and a new 2-story school was built in 1871 and staffed by Franciscan sisters. Reverend F. McHugh was the priest in 1938. Art Red Bilo is the boy handling the football. This is Irma Bruckner, ready for school with her notebook. Second from left is June Kobriger. East Main Street, which was known as downtown Chilton, had many businesses, including the Chilton Mill Works on the corner of Main and Douglas Street. Art Spanger is the truck driver, and the man with the hat is Frank Steiner. Other employees in the firm are Veronica Turba and Earl Kroenke. The millworks was started in 1874 under the name of Dorschel Kroenke, and in 1927 was renamed Chilton Millwork Company. This is the former Cyril Pfeffer home located on the corner of Oak and Park Street. The home that is currently below the hill of Chilton High School, next to the tennis courts, was built and operated by Walter Minnow. It was a snack shop for students, known as the Student Nook. The downtown bank was the Commercial Bank on the corner of Main and Douglas. It was established in 1911 by a group of businessmen and farmers. It was known as the Bank of the People. The second man is Mike Bolts. In 1941, the bank moved to larger facilities in the Hotel Chilton and then built new facilities in 1960. The State Bank of Chilton was established in 1891 by Thomas Connell. It was originally a frame building located at 503 Main Street. A new building was erected on the same site in 1911, the Lutz Burnett McDermott Law Offices of present. Carl Huffmeister is coming to do his banking. Arthur Connell was president. Grace Mangan is an employee. Mike Miller, a customer, comes to do his banking. Jeanette Connell is the secretary. Thomas Connell, the older man, was the former president. The younger man outside is Jervis Jip Bloomer, who will eventually become president. The Chilton Molding Company on East Main was organized in 1900 and known today as Breese Industries. Groundwork began in 1901 for the elevator and malt house and completed in 1902. The elevator was 123 feet high, 42 feet wide, and 150 feet long, and could hold 350,000 bushels of barley. The whole plant cost $150,000 and was the finest and best equipped establishment in the state. Farmers now had a market for their products and received a fair market price. The city took on a huge and daring undertaking when they established the malt company. Here's how they turned the hops. George Berger, owner, on the left, and Bill Schumacher on the right. The man in the white shirt and glasses is John Berger, George's son. Gal on the left is Leona Binsfield. Man on the right is Louis Steffes. The two workers are Max Casper and Ed Hyman. Mary Sam Mortimer on left, Frank Rederath on right, and Herman High Gritner is on the left. On left is Joe Shusher with dog. Chilton was the county seat, and one of the many law firms in town was the Helmuth Arps and Don Bunk law offices on West Main. Left to right is attorney Helmuth Arps with attorney Donald Bunk, Tony Modler, Helen Sontag, secretary, and Janice Coiler, secretary. The law firm was established in 1937. Now we're filming at St. Mary's School. The original school was built as a 3-room school and was finished in 1879. The enrollment at that time was 80 pupils and under the direction of the Sisters of Notre Dame. The school was completed in 1915. Then in 1945, an 8-room addition, a library, and meeting room were added. It's recess time for the St. Mary's children. They enjoyed the good old games of playing ball, jumping rope, and tag. The playground equipment was well used in those days. They all enjoyed being silly for the camera. Some of the boys having fun are Elmer Wagner, Joe Meyer, Art Coiler, Bob Coiler, Jack Hurdle and Don Kubali, Marty Somm, John Michael Sr. and Bob Fleur, Ken Knolf in back, Elroy Gillis, Pete Bruckner and Jim Rady, in front, Eugene Bittner. That's Val Grenzer on the crutches. Marie Maurer in the white-collar dress. Gal in the dark is Vivian Chookum. Back middle, Audrey Schaefer. In front, in white, is Marie Hurdle. Bernadette Somm. Front middle is Virginia Tennyson. Behind her is Ellen Freitag, and to the right is Betty Schmitz. Next is Vernie Ziegelbauer. In the middle, Marion Perry. Girl in back is Bernice Somm. Then Eunice Ninnig, Rita Malman, and Charlotte Schaefer. Armilla Somm, Otilla Jukum. These two girls are Ina Claire Schucht and Betty Lair. Joan Grenzer. Here we have Arnold Portman, Eddie Rarig, and Don Coiler. Dick Young is on the left, followed by Gene Pfeiffer, Rod Runk, Heine Kiesner, and Alfred Ortleb. Don Schaefer. Wearing tie, Jerry Kampfer. Vince Somm in back, Jim Friedrichs and Roman Nett, Clarence Bittner, and Kenny Mortimer. This is St. Martin's Lutheran School, located at 50 Laner Street, which was built in 1928. The school children come out for a photo shoot. We're at the Calumet County Sheriff's Department. People shown are Winnie Endries, Ruth Grittner, and Francis Schlosser. Attorney Eddie Ike comes out of the building and chats with William N. Knolf Center and Jerry Jensen. Jerry Jensen was the county sheriff, and Della Jensen also became sheriff. Here's Wolfels Electric, located on West Main Street between Madison and State Streets. Main Street was really bustling in 1938. Wolfels sold all of the latest appliances to make the 1938 household easier to operate. The owner, Joe Wolfel, is on the right with Barney Gephardt and Charlotte Wolfel. Joe's wife is on the left, and the young girl is Joan Wolfel, their daughter. Another uptown business was the Federated Store on the corner of Main and State. This was a clothing and food store. Gordon Wolf, pictured with the kids and the dog, was the owner. Here's the Chilton Volunteer Fire Department racing to the scene of a fire. The Chilton Volunteer Department was organized in 1874 as Hose Company No. 1, and the firehouse was located on the southwest corner of Madison and School Streets. Girl watching the fire is Connie Burns. The firemen posed with their equipment outside the current fire station located on School Street. Zeno Endries is the driver, and to the far right is George Winkler. Zeno Endries, Les Lehner, and George Flatley. Here is Norbert Nib Sturm, who later became fire chief, Glenn Fleming and Bob Schwartz. Earl Lehner, Floyd Charette, Joe Ortleb, and Dave Welch. Now we meet the fire chief, Vernon Hall, in the white hat, and next to him is Chief of Police Anton Pop Steffes. It's time to start the parade, and Police Officer Louis Bilo is chatting with Gary Jensen prior to getting in his squad to lead the parade. This is Toppy Hall chatting with Frank Schlosser. It's Friday, October 14th at 12:30 p.m. as the parade units are coming down Park Street from the high school and turning on to Commerce Street. They are going downtown to begin the parade at the Milwaukee Road train depot. They're passing by the Calumet Brewery on the corner of Park Street and Commerce Street, which is located on the hill across from where the library is today. The Wisconsin Public Service Building is shown, with the secretary being Margaret Becklum. Roy Eide crosses the street. Paul Christoph, Henry Schad, and Roy Eide. The girl holding the dog is Audrey Schaefer. The high school band leads the parade up Main Street from its starting point downtown at the train depot, which was located across the street from the Central House Hotel. The prizes for the best entries in the parade were awarded with first place to the home economics class for the Dutch girls in blue and white costumes carrying mops, brooms, and buckets. The girls made the costumes themselves. Their theme was Clean Up Kiel. Second place to the Glee Club with the autumn leaves strewn around and representing the fall of Kiel. Third place was a tie between the Future Farmers with a horse-drawn wagon and a group of boys, some dressed as girls, doing a square dance with the slogan, "We've got a team that will take us to town tonight." And the freshman class with members dressed as Eskimos with the slogan, "Snowing Keel Under." The Chilton Times-Journal news article noted, "The homecoming festivities will officially get underway Friday night at the high school auditorium, when the annual homecoming dance holds sway. Music for the occasion will be furnished by the Tony Greshel Orchestra." The football game took place on October 15th, Saturday afternoon, as lights were not available to play night games. It's interesting to note, according to the Chilton Times, the Kiel football team was known as the Flying Dutchmen and not the Kiel Raiders as they are known today. Their team colors were purple and white, and they were led by Coach Goldgrubber. Also noteworthy is that the Chilton team was known as the Blue Golds and not the Tigers. They were led by Coach Krieger. Many citizens turned out to watch the parade. The gentleman with the hat and cigar is chiropractor Dr. Arthur Pino. The man in front of the Bauman and Jensen store is high school janitor Joe Grittner. G.M. Morrissey and Ernie Lair. Some of the spectators from right to left are Cyril Pfeffer, Patty and young Patty Barnes, and Charles Schumacher. May Stumpenhorst. On the right in the white hat is Goff Morrissey, former superintendent, shaking hands with Frank Schlosser, current superintendent. School board members are from right to left, William N. Knopf, John Hanley, Frank Schlosser, and William McHale, owner of the Chilton Times-Journal. Here are two teachers, Agnes Bush on the left and Elsie Trockle on the right. The Chilton High School band posed and played for the cameras after the parade on the corner of Park and School Court. Their director and band teacher was Marvin Hoffman in the white uniform. Madeline Kiesner-Dumpke, John Kupp holding the banner. This is Earl Cosman. Here's Florence Harlow. Albion Khan. John Murphy on the first horn. Here are the children of St. Martin's Lutheran School playing leapfrog. Some of the children who attended St. Martin's were Howard Red Grit, Keith Brown, and Lydia Dietz. Their teacher was Arno Deering. The building was converted to a parsonage around 1940. Dr. John Goggins drives by. Al Bauman and Art Jensen, owners of Bauman and Jensen Shoe Store, visit with attorney John Hill with a hat and cigar. The Standard service station on the corner of Main and Madison did a booming business. The service stations then were full service. They pumped your gas, checked your oil, washed the windows, and sold all the parts for your car. Everyone received a friendly smile and greeting from Art Coiler, the owner on the left, with employee Ray Weller. Students from the outlying areas had to ride the bus as they do now. The school buses leave Chilton Public School to deliver students to their homes. Kiwanis members and their spouses enjoy a day of golf at the Calumet Golf Club on Hickory Hills Road. The golf club was owned by a group of businessmen. It was a beautiful October day for a round of golf. Here's Bernice Tesh teeing off with the rest of the wives. George Berger tees off to start the men's round. This is Gordon Wolf teeing off. See how he missed it the first time? This is Louis Stark lighting his pipe. The Calumet County Highway Department garage and shop on Highway 57 had all the newest equipment. Working at the shop as secretaries are Eileen Hall on the right and Rachel Mortimer. County Highway Commissioner Ray Jensen is on the right and all the county employees. Here's a look at the heavy equipment and trucks that kept the highways and byways of Calumet County drivable. George Vogel operated the steam shovel. And Ed Diedrich mows the lawn. West Main Street, commonly known as Uptown, had many businesses in 1938. In front of his 5 and 10 cent store is proprietor Mr. Ellsworth and employee Bob Miller, and next to Bob is Tekla Sheevely. There was Stark's Jewelry Store. This is presently Wayne's Barbershop. Here's owner Louis Stark and his employee Alice Schneider. Here's Everick's Bakery, known for its delicious bakery, including cakes, cookies, and pies. In the center is owner Mrs. Everick's with her clerk Rosie Bainline and Pat Burns, an employee. Chilton had its own creamery in 1938. The Chilton Creamery on the north end of town was at the corner of Highway 57 and Breed Street. From left to right is proprietor Walter Liebetrau, Frank Mand, Chuck Liebetrau, and milkman Mark Holzer. The creamery was first established as a cheese factory. In 1925, when it was sold, it was renamed Chilton Creamery. Walter purchased it in 1925 and operated it as a creamery until 1945. As we go to the Calumet County Courthouse, employees of the county gather in front of the courthouse on Court Street for a photo opportunity. The need for a federal building was felt in the county around 1857. An elegant stone building was completed in 1858. This was later torn down and a new one was erected around 1882. Pat Flanagan, County Superintendent of Schools. Charlie Luther and his daughter Germaine. Gary Jensen, Mike Schwartz, Judge Goggins, and George Green. As we go to the Chilton City Hall of 1938, handyman Tommy Tyson gets his picture taken. City Hall was on School Street as it is now. Passing by and performing is the Chilton City Band of 1938. They were led by Marvin Huffman. Chilton has had some form of band since 1904. Let's hear some tunes from the band. Mayor Harry Thompson in the dark hat stands outside City Hall with council members Ray Rohr on the right, Bill McHale in the middle, and Dr. Minahan on the left. Carl Hoffmeister, Ed Hyman, and George Bruckner. Mayor Thompson and Ernie Lair. This is Otto Hurst. The two men with white hats were also school board members. City Hall was originally the high school and was built in 1905. Back on Main Street, we're in front of Wolf's store with proprietor Gordon Wolf. Margaret Turba and Jack Thomas were his employees. The crew working on the construction of the new tennis courts behind Chilton Public School was a project of the Wisconsin Public Assistance Program, commonly known as the WPA. The Chilton Public School housed grades 1 through 12 and was built in 1934-35 with the first graduating class in 1935. Frank Schlosser was the superintendent of schools. Do you recognize any students or any staff members? Before class is dismissed, the camera went in and filmed some classes. We see the home economics class in session with teacher Miss Markham. The school gymnasium, and several of the elementary classes. This is the chemistry class with teacher Frank Schlosser. In 1938, the Chilton Bottling Company was at 203 West Main Street. Many wonderful flavors of soda were bottled and delivered. The Rheinkopers purchased the business in 1916, and it became known as Rheinko Bottling Company. Here is owner John Rheinkoper on the left and his son Vince. On North Madison Street, we meet Chuck Smith at his Texaco service station. Smith's Garage was another wonderful full-service station and garage. On the right is Chuck the proprietor and Sam Schmeiser, an employee. Chilton also had a beautiful greenhouse and florist. Owners Mr. and Mrs. Henry Ziegler of Ziegler's Greenhouse and Floral are shown with their two daughters. At the corner of State and Main Streets was the Voss Tavern. Herman Voss, owner on the right, with Paul Beinert, his bartender, and Margaret Greschel. This is St. Mary's football squad on the practice field in back of the City Hall, the site of the old Chilton High School, and was still used for practice. The Calumet Brewery was located on the corner of East Main and Park Street and owned by John Landgraf. The brewery was established in 1928 and closed in the summer of 1941. What's a town without a local meat locker? Miller's Meats was not only a meat locker, but a restaurant and ice cream parlor, located on Main Street just west of the corner of State Street. Clayton Miller carries in some meat while his dad and owner Oscar Miller supervises. The Carnation Milk Company was in full operation in 1938. Located on East Main, the building was originally a cold storage. On the right is Jack Schneider, plant manager, and Ken Wolfel, office worker. Frank Tesh and Mr. Freund purchased it in 1911. Evaporated milk was produced from 1911 to 1954. Instant milk was produced after that. The county seat affords Chilton an abundance of attorneys. Here's the Fox & Fox law firm. Bill Callahan on the left and Leo Fox, brother to Jerome, on the right. Jerome Fox talks with a client, Jack Schumacher. It's time for the football homecoming game. A preview of the upcoming football game as taken from the Chilton Times-Journal news article. Quote, coming into this week's game, both teams appear to be evenly matched, as both teams had beaten North Fondy by 4 touchdowns each and have played previous opponents, Pulaski and Kimberly, pretty evenly. However, the Kiel squad would appear to have a slight edge since they have compiled 3 wins in 4 games, while the Chilton squad has only 1 win in 4 games. Chilton's lineup will be much the same as the one that faced O'Connell Falls last Saturday, with the exception that Don Willett will be back at the center position in place of Steffes. The backfield combination will be chosen from Rice, Dorr, Friedrichs, Poland, and Schwartz. As the game proceeded, the Chilton team had a 12-0 lead at one time, but the final score was Kiel 13, Chilton 12. The quarterback for the game was Hooks Rice. Some of the other players were Chuck Lebetrow, end, Bob Hurdle, tackle, Joe Ott, end, and Bob Dorr, fullback. We all recognize the football bowl behind the school, now known as Morrissey Field. St. Augustine's Irish Catholic Church on State Street was one of the oldest churches in the county. The first Mass was held in 1850. The first church building was originally built in 1855. The present church was built in 1869. And now we go to Main Street and St. Mary's Church. In January 1877, 25 families of German descent established St. Mary's Church. The building was completed in November of 1877. On January 28, 1915, fire destroyed the church. The cornerstone of the new church was laid on August 15, 1915, and opened in December of that year. Reverend Henry Hunk was the priest in 1938.